We've got 5 ideas. Best selling product. I like your chicken finger.
Yeah, bring the product to your items.
Yeah, it's like smells, like everything smells like items.
Well, 30 seconds, try to finish right what you got. All right. Hopefully y'all had some fun with that activity. Just a random question: has anyone worked in a sporting event concession stand? I know Alyssa was coming up with all these ideas, so it's an unfair advantage, I think. So, all right, if we could just have maybe each group just share, I don't know, your top 1 or your top 2 ideas that you want, or if you feel like I want to share all 3. We'd love to hear kind of what your ideas were, what was some of the conversation you were having as a group. Is there a team that would like to go first?
We can go. So we thought about having an incentive program to bring people back to the concession stand. Come buy 5 hot dogs, you get 1 free on your 6th visit to the stand or something like that.
And it's easy to use, so you can just use your phone number and the person has to register it, boom.
You get credit for visiting.
Like Quick Trip.
And then we thought about marketing, advertising, for example. Sandra came up with the boards that have the information that light up in most of the football stadiums. Just advertise what's at the concession stand, because sometimes maybe people don't even know what's offered there. So if it's a visual opportunity to see what's available, that might increase people visiting the concession stand.
That wouldn't cost anything because most stadiums have reader boards, and we could put
Very large ones.
product and location. But the best one was ordering from your phones and having it delivered to your
Oh, yeah.
Centralized ordering option, so you're not running around all the stadium looking for this item and this item.
You know, I think in the NBA, they if you're courtside, they do some of that.
Yeah.
So I think there is some of that just depending on where you sit. But that'd be awesome if it was everywhere. Any conversation or anything else you want to share? Those are fantastic ideas.
It just was fun because it evolved and
It really evolved.
changed as we started the topics.
Awesome.
I'll go next.
Okay.
So the first question that was asked, or statement that was said was 33%, that seems like a lot. Let's catchball that. And I said, well, I had already catchballed that with our and last year we grew by 30%, so we're setting the bar a little bit higher to 33%. That's how we came on 33%. So I said that's been catchballed, so now it's your guys's, we need your input as to how we're going to accomplish that. So what we came up with was having a jingle about chicken strips, since it's our best selling item on the menu.
That's from a true story, by the way.
What's the jingle?
The only one I remember right now, but everyone would chant chicken tender baskets, chicken tender baskets.
Now that's what I want for lunch.
Someone would yell, order it. They would yell, and there was a response. And so many people ordered chicken tender baskets that day. So, I'm telling you, that's gold.
The next countermeasure that we came up with was to have Scentsies or candles of food outside of the stands to draw people into the stands, get them thinking about it, salivating, maybe they'll want some food if they smell popcorn way out there, I don't know. And then they did ask, my team asked for a little bit more clarification if we're talking about a 33% increase in profit margin or total sales or something like that. So I'm gonna go back to my one-up and kind of clarify that and then go back to them and solidify our catchball process.
And part of where that conversation came up was our best selling product is not due, but if that's, you know, a third of the cost of the chicken tender basket, it changed our priorities of our ideas.
Those are great questions.
Whoa.
Impressive.
I think you guys have a side hustle.
Great job. Should we just keep going around? Tom? Eric?
We had a different ideas from everyone else, which is interesting. First was just increase prices on all items by 10%.
There you
We have a captive audience. They can't know the other choices.
They're not gonna know this, right?
And then introduce 5 new products based on market research. Like everyone's into the hard sparkling water these days, so
Bud Light. Coming to
get all
to
these
town.
new things into the stadium. And then more mobile vendors walking the stands. So making sure that we have people, even at the top of those stands where people are hungry and they don't want to walk all the way down, that there's people bringing stuff up to them.
Awesome. I love that first one. You have a valid point there. I mean, there really is no other options. I mean, what did I hear for the Rose Bowl? Like beer was like $17. Yeah, $17 for a beer. And I'm sure there's people that paid for multiple beers. So when you have no other place to get that stuff, people will pay for it. So Brian, Mike, and Heidi.
We came up with combo pricing, so getting people to buy more by just offering a discount if you buy things in sets of 3. Keeping an adequate inventory, as an example, like if we're running out of our chicken tender baskets, making sure that we have an adequate supply to keep up with the chanting. And then we also had offering new products, but we thought we could also like try to sell more of those by setting out one as a sample and get people to taste it and want it. And outlaw tailgating was our last one.
What was tailgating? Sorry?
We're gonna outlaw it.
Oh, you might not have anyone showing up to their games.
I was gonna say, we won't have
That is not going to go well.
sampling out.
All right, last group. Tyler, Robert, and Melissa.
Sure. We had a few ideas similar to what most people came up with, but we talked about creating kind of like bundles, kind of disguise price increases. So you're increasing the prices, but you're bundling the low cost items with the high cost items and then upcharging. And then we talked about same thing where you're kind of increasing the awareness of what's available and getting more boots on the ground. So you got people in the stands, you've got advertisements on the scoreboards, chanting. And then our last idea was creating like appealing displays for the high margin items, and really drawing people's attentions to the items that are going to make us the most money.
Awesome. Those are all fantastic ideas. I think this whole CI gig doesn't work for us all. We got some other areas we can maybe dabble in. So.
Well, and I was gonna bring it up, and my daughter does gymnastics, and we, as a booster club, go in and do a lot of fundraising, like the Brewers and the Packers do a lot of fundraising. So they get a big percentage of it, but us going in there, oh, it's for gymnastics, we'll buy this more. And we,
Yeah.
So,
So
that
fake
also.
charities?
Yes, yeah. But it helps us pay for all of our gymnastics costs.
Awesome. Well, hopefully that exercise just kind of showed, again, the power of, bringing things down to the front line to really share those ideas to ultimately help achieve the goals that are set, more at that higher level. But I love, some of the questions that you posed back and forth. I think that's appropriate. We should challenge things and try to understand, well, why is it 33%? And being able to ask those questions, because as we get clarity, that helps us then kind of frame maybe where we might want to focus with our ideas, or where our priorities are. So definitely throughout the Catchball, it's asking lots of questions And again, hopefully if your one-up doesn't have the answer, they can go one layer back up to make sure they get clarifying. You know, I know for CI, when we were doing our catchball, that had to happen on a number of our goals. So certainly that is all entailed with the catchball process.
Can I mention something too,
Yeah,
Scott?
Tracy, go ahead.
This came up, so we were actually doing the activity in the back as well together. And one thing, even for us, that I noticed is so often when you have kind of that, what we call a lagging goal, so we want to increase sales by the end of the year, maybe by 33%, you start with all those great ideas. Here's how we can affect that. Here's how we can change that. Just remember that you do need to change that into some sort of a measurable goal. So even if that's your idea, how are you going to measure that to understand whether it's actually succeeding or not? So one of the ones I'm trying to think of one of the ones we came up with.
Increase beer sales by 10%. So that came out of the idea of a wider beer selection.
Right, so thinking, okay, here's our idea to make it better, but now how are we gonna measure that? So just remember to keep that in mind as you're talking about goal setting and doing that catchball
It's those
activity.
tactical things that we're gonna do that really help drive that change.
Yeah.
You know, system region will do that at a more higher level, but at the frontline level, what are those specific tasks on a daily basis, weekly basis that we're gonna do that we wanna see that needle move in whatever direction. So then in 3 months, if the needle's still here, then we know maybe we need to course adjust and maybe do that catchball or go to a different idea that maybe wasn't the top priority at the time when we initially did the conversation. So that's kind of where it's those constant cycles of catchball and kind of going back to the drawing board where we need to. All right, so we're going to talk about idea generation.